everyone. Good morning. How are we doing? Coming in for a daily message check-in, obviously. Just feeling really great. I think I'm at a really amazing point in life where, I'm having to join my own revolution and kind of recognize where it's like, you're meant to lead your own life. There isn't like necessarily a leader to follow. And then you'll know in life when there are true leaders, because true leaders just ignite other people into empowerment. So that's kind of what I do here. It's never been for you to follow me or subscribe to me or fucking nourish me or build me up, because what I've set myself free to do in the long-term sustainable way is like to know what's next for me. And like, it's just really amazing because, people can feel however they want to about it, but I have to be honest about what's possible for me. And a lot of people are on different spectrums of like healing narcissistic wounding at this time. If you were raised with like acute insecurities, that is all changing at this time, because those are places where we steal from ourselves. So a lot of times, I've kind of been in like a year-long negotiation with the powers that be, because God has really told me, like, Alexis, the most important thing for you in order to understand what comes next for you, right, in terms of like how I'm gonna let my situation transform, is to just be honest about what I really have the capacity to do. Just want to get some more ground rules out. For me right now, there's just like far too much to get started on that I have like been waiting to like dig my teeth into domestically, for me to really like keep my vision to like global scale in terms of like where I physically need to be. So like right now, like I'm really flowing because like, I really see the future as being from the inside out. So there's not really like any initiative that I'm making in terms of the studio and in terms of just like my life at this current juncture that have to do with like needing to do something or go somewhere beyond what's currently fully available to me, in order to like enact something. And that's something that the maturity of 2025 really gave me. My really big focus on America at this time is just it can't really change. Like I'm too needed at this time, and everything that I'm doing has so many dual purposes. In terms of like, there's like the production need of like something that I'm trying to get done, but then there's also just like the need in the greater collective framework. So for me, my whole situation is really going to transform, because I believe that people who truly love me and support me, for me, really want to also just see my own prosperity. So I'm really excited because this year I really had to stick to my guns and be like, I'm not going to change my plans that I know I have to just do next. Kind of like coming and healing like with my family. Like that's not something that like investors know I have to do on my plate, or people who are interested in like connecting with me might necessarily know. And they might be irritated, like, what the, you can't do. But it's like, listen, there is no fucking internal stability unless I can like make sense of my parts. And so again, maybe that's just like kind of the opening message for you, is like, it's really important at this time that like, yeah, you are good. Like, the things that are coming into you, as much as it's like we were learning about this new chapter and this new cycle in life, and as much as we were trying to reach for a connecting ground with certain things, it's not a spill. Like, we're all individuals, we're all grown, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to still participate in your life, and distance and travel and times are not things that we should be manufacturing as much, or manipulating as much as we do truly manipulate them, in order to just like have what we want. Like I really do mean, like, I'm sorry, but I am someone who lives by like, this is not the decade nor the time in human evolution where it's like about centering just like every whim that a human might want to make happen. Like you see me completely fall into what people would consider like a really bustling like a creative channel, but it isn't also coming from a place of like creating things outside of what the contemporary season is at a collective level. Like I choose to create within the confines of what God says we can be working on right now. So if right now it's about recycling, cleaning renewable resources, and creating new structures, within a demolition process, then that's like what it's got to be. So all of those things considered, I'm just really excited, because I just feel like this week is like a really big honoring of the fact that like I didn't lose myself along the journey and weaken what needed to be built here. I also think that I'm going to be very surprised by how many people like I really think like made me do stuff myself just because they could see where I was going and see how like much of a force I was, even in times when I was too wounded to like see a maybe a more full picture of who I am. I feel really grateful for those individuals who were just like kind of like, this year was like a lot of hard knocks, like a lot of just like, your idea sucks, you're a liar, you're stupid. But in the end, like, it did kind of get out, like, the fact that I have to completely be, like, structuring and developing out this comprehensive, like, universe that God wants me to have that exists in my heart. But I had to do it. I had to do it. Like, I had to do it, and I had to, like, develop it. So it's like I'm really coming to find that it's like a really positive thing. I'm gliding through, spiritual initiations that I've already like gone through like so easily now, because I just realized it's like, yeah, do you believe that in order to have everything that I wish for, that I want to come to me, I don't have to lift another finger outside of anything to have it? And also that, like, again, nobody was ever asking me to abandon who I am just to, like, follow something so um, fleshly, like, to follow, like, temporary satisfaction, when I have something so long term that can really feed, people for life. I'm really trying to find solutions to global challenges that can, like, improve my lifetime, and the people who are also living at the same time as me. So let's see what's going on. Wow. Yeah. This is kind of just because I feel like this is, I really came on to kind of read a little bit about, like, the frecuencia, and I just feel like it was the final spiritual initiation. Like, I feel like it was the final testing to see, like, what the nature of, like, certain things are. And again, like, I want people to keep in perspective, like, not everyone is you. Like, I also just, like, want to tell people, like, there are billions of people on this planet that, like, have never left where they're from, and they don't deserve to feel like they're missing out, or they don't have certain keys to life because circumstance doesn't afford them certain things. Like, I think what I'm doing is very symbolic of just, like, a normal truth. Like, the earth is massive, but it's not everyone's path that it's having that view necessarily. Or, I don't really believe in a system that says, like, being more well traveled at the expense of, like, single use, like, exhaustive non-renewable resources, like, per every individual, just to go see something, or say you've touched some sort of soil that's disconnected to you. It's like it might take, like, so much resources to produce. So you just want to make sure the things that we're doing really value that. And so I say, yeah, I did take maybe what I think some people might, I felt it this year, where it's like, I just had to address this. It's like 10 of swords, 3 of swords, where it's like the final spiritual initiation, which is like, I woke up this morning realizing, like, yeah, well, it's kind of like talking about it on my walk yesterday. It was like, the construct of, like, FOMO is, like, not real, because that's a construct that is rooted in capitalism, that it's like to get you to buy into whatever the consumer habit really is, right? We have to remember there is, like, a machine that needs to, like, keep its fuel running, which is like a money currency machine in terms of our current system. And so even when people are like, oh man, like, this would be such an enriching experience for you, like, even at the heart of tourism is, like, we want money. Like, you know what I mean? So even though they're trying to sell you that, like, you need this experience in this place, or you need to, like, come have this, like, once in a lifetime thing, like, I really would rather us, like, sort of really change our framework or change our mind to realize, like, every moment in life is as magical. Like, there's not even one buildup. And, like, the programming that I make, I try to deliver, like, a consistent experience even when I'm in homelessness. So, like, if you were to be a part of, like, let's say a party that I threw for the Children of America tour, it is exactly what you're going to feel and see from the power of, like, me doing a lecture style, like, reading. So that is something that I want to level out, so that we kind of get rid of this sort of, like, dopamine exploitation, in our society at large. But what I'm seeing here, and I want to just make sure to, like, clarify the 4 that have come out. So we started with the 10 of swords, right? Which is like, I am truly noticing how I am not who I used to be, mostly because your triggers are for you. So it's not even like the things that trigger you were, like, sent to trigger you. They just are collaterally triggering you. So one of the biggest things that I'm realizing is, like, I'm not who I was before. I don't feel like, after what I went through this summer, I missed everything. Like, there were so many things that I didn't get to be a part of. And then I look back and I'm like, you don't miss out on anything. You can create a fear of missing out on something, but there isn't anything to miss out on in terms of your life. So that was the number one indicator that I've really changed. Because I can be excited for things to be happening on this planet. Like, good things can be happening all over the place that, like, oh, that would be so wonderful to experience. But it's not even about me experiencing. It's just knowing that, like, people are lighting up their grids wherever they are. That makes me happy in and of itself, regardless of, like, my physical presence. Because, again, my 24 hours a day is like the most valuable thing to me. And so no matter how diverse my work gets and how like super CEO I end up being in life, I will always really not play about like I want to spend my 24 hours like making love genuinely and like just like breathing and being outside. So I do a lot of innovating just so I can protect that, because I don't feel like that resource you ever get back. So I also don't even really just love to be like in transit, in travel, waiting, standing, doing all this stuff. Like those things aren't like actually what brings me like joy, peace, and solitude. Like joy, peace, and solitude was just like the dropping in of it all for me. And so it's kind of like this was the final spiritual like initiation and test, because like it isn't about any one person controlling anything. It's like put your wishes forward, do what you want to do, but in the end, like, because right now it's like there's a magician and there's a empress, and I just think that like it has been like, I also feel like this is about communication, the communication that like I am ready now and in alignment now, because these two parties have gone through this where they transformed and they had to acknowledge the pain that came with the journey of like letting go of an old form. So that's kind of like where we're opening up, because it looks like there's a new grounded beginning of like collaboration, Page of Pentacles. Like someone is now like, I'm here and ready to offer this. But the premise of it really came from like both this magician and this empress had to, and I see this in my own marriage, like me and Dennis definitely, like we tell you this all the time, we like, grew up together. And you know, as we've been navigating our 20s, it's been a lot of, you know, everybody's 20s goes that way. So you're not the bitch you came into it as. And you know, a lot of times like, because the 20s like comes with such a like development of the brain that makes you think like you've got it all figured out, a lot of times there, by the time you leave your 20s, there can be like things that were like truths, painful truths that were meant to like strengthen your heart. So I think that the magician and the empress are both coming to the awareness that like we could not be doing this new start had it not been for all this. So this is like a really big moment and a really big nod to be like, dude, everything was necessary. All of the like cleaning, get up, you know, getting on the same page, all of that is like super duper necessary. Because it puts you in the position that you're meant to be. And I think someone really knew, like, I really am like working as a magician in life. Like I really am a co-creator with like source. And someone is like, yeah, and I'm just really good at nurturing an entire empire. So it's like such a forceful couple to be like coming out, because I just feel like they come out with this like union, like this, the union is physical, you know, in some way. So let's clarify the Ten of Swords. Yeah. I think a lot of times, you know, this is what we intended to create. I think everyone knew, was like, okay, I gotta like find, like, it's like you find, this is definitely the story of like, oh, like, it's like love at first sight sparks you to like completely transform. This is a transformative love. It is. And I feel like this is the week where the transformative love, like, you see, like, because I think when you're transforming, you think that, like, is everyone transforming with me? Because this feels involuntary to me. This feels hard to me. But it's like, I feel like the news is like, no, I definitely, like, intended to kill all this off. Like, I intended to, like, go through every inch of, like, what my past was and, like, actually, like, change it. Like, change what's happening. Eight of Swords, right? And I think that there were times when just like you felt really boxed in, because you have to find a way to also get stronger, like to be able to hold more pain. Because I think whenever you really develop in life, you're gonna definitely realize that like it was spilled water. Like there are times when like something is like so paramount in your life, but through time, through progression, through your own evolution, through your embodiment of the Three of Swords, you actually come out realizing like it doesn't matter, because only the things that can fall apart are meant to fall. Like if it can collapse, it was never meant to stand up. So that's what the Five of Cups is, like the emotional reinvestment of that. Like the idea that it's like, yeah, but actually like there's a realization of like, well, here's why I had to let go of the old form, because it was causing me pain. It was keeping me stagnant. So I think people are aware, like this union of the magician and the empress is like such a good force, because one knows what to create and one knows how to nurture it, right? It's like true, like divine feminine, divine masculine energy starting this week. So it's like so beautiful. But again, we just came out of like the craziest shedding of all time. And it was like nuts. And we talked about it. Like we will never forget like 2025. We won't, because like it's more about how 2025 will reverberate in our brains when we go into other years. It's like, oh, that's exactly what happened all the way through that shit. Yep. And I feel like this, for the divine masculine, in order to become the magician, they had to learn how to like pick a path that would transform them. Do you get what I'm saying? you can't want like stagnancy. Like you actually have to like embrace the thing that's going to change what you're currently doing. Because I think for the magician, in order to be better at creating, you have to learn how to surrender to your original source. To be like in the image of source, you have to like take the best guidance all the time, and it may not always be like the path that you thought, right? So just this is about like the divine masculine walking away right now, really realizing like it's about making sure that I'm Knight of Swords. Like I need to know that all I got to check for whenever I'm picking a path and knowing it's going to change my life is like, as long as I'm telling like the truth God wants, then you're good. You won't know what's on the path, right? Like a lot of this could seem scary. It's a very scorpionic frequency where it's like death is going to wait for you on this path in the best way. It means out with the old and with the new. So that was the divine masculine perspective. And for the divine feminine, just literally your life's about to get flipped upside down. It's like being crucified and then being coronated. It's that frequency. It's like there was a time when the patriarchy existed, and for women that was just like truly like burned at the stake. So the divine feminine has to realize like they only burned witches at the stake. They only burned like the divine feminine intelligence down because of how valuable you were. So the divine feminine went on this journey of shedding the old self and the memories and the pain of it, because you were always this huge investment. You get what I mean? So these are all really beautiful like starting frequencies, but I just feel like that's like what's happening for all parties involved. But it definitely looks like finally a magician and an empress are able to do the thing. Like their magic works, like their alchemy now works because of all the things that I just listed. The pain is no longer imprisoning them. They transmuted it. They dealt with it. They realized like their heart isn't meant to bleed out because of these painful situations. That's what I'm saying. Like every time my family kicked me out, like I swear to you, I was like, God, how am I supposed to get past this? I have no money, no food, nowhere to go. I don't even know what the next step is. Somehow we're here today. And it's just like all to show you that like those experiences and that old self, like you really were meant to transcend it. So beautiful for all of us. I can't explain my like pride and gratitude enough for everyone. There's also a huge message that is also coming in at this time, Page of Swords to the Queen of Swords. And it really also validates your feminine connection to your higher power. Like the part of your divine feminine that is devoted to God is about to get a message that I feel like, because it's of the same suit, it's a message that affirms like your devotion. Like you're about to get a message, divine feminine, that like says to your divine feminine that like is going to show you why you stay devoted to coming into this type of union. Whether you feel like the magician or the empress, they're both aspects of you, but the reason you stayed devoted to like ascending both your divine masculine and divine feminine and doing this work is about to come into you. Like you're about to get the message that's like, oh yeah, that's why we pray. You know what I mean? Whoa. This is a God-ordained partnership. Like, it's obvious, like, duh. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, me and Dennis, when we look at each other, it's like, well, the reason we kept doing all this crazy burst out of we don't have the old lives we have or had anymore. We have this new thing. And I just feel like this is the week it's like destinated, it's like ordained type of frequencies. It's not just a week. Like for me and Dennis, we're starting off like what we said, it's like the next like 35 days, like from now until November 4th, like God is already just like, you guys need to just get ready because it's coming in 1818. It's like with the moon cycles, it's coming in the perfect timing, but there's a message that comes in that just frees us to be, it proves that like we are an ordained lover, because at this point, like me and Dennis knew we were special, but like we're coming into crazy, like, oh, our love is getting in the attention of like huge things, or our love has built these huge businesses. Like those things are all going into the bank of evidence that like God is on this couple, that like God assembled this. And I think that light shines through the two of us. Like people can tell that like God is in there. You know what I mean? Which is an amazing thing. So yeah, it's for the magician and the empress are like certified lovers, you know, like they are. And that message of truth that I feel like I said, it's like, I feel like your divine feminine spirituality was always honoring this. So like, that's the single through line that I think motivated everybody to get through this, which was like the divine feminine's vision that God, like connecting to the vision God has for all of us for the future. She was the one that was like, no, divine masculine, you need to keep growing in this way. I know it's scary. I know it's uncertain because I have to do the same thing. I was burned at the stake. I've been fucking killed and persecuted, but I still have to continue to be psychic, even though like that's something that people are going to like in the past have historically like punished me for. I have to be able to like do all of it. I can't just do parts of myself. I can't leave the esoteric aspects of myself out of this equation any longer, out of fear of being persecuted and harmed. We all had to keep going. But now you're about to see, like I'm about to see, like this week is so big for me. I saw aspects of it that were like, just like, what do you want to do? Like it starts now. But you know, we're kind of having this like really wonderful like Austin staycation before, just like we actually like drive off and do the tour thing, ski, that I'm just really excited about. I also get to like spend time and like have like first, like I haven't gotten to celebrate my dad's birthday with him in how many years. So I'm really blessed that if, you know, God willing, like we're all here on that day, November 3rd, I get to be in my city, like with my dad, you know, being really excited about year 68 for him, or, you know, I get to get married on Halloween like I've always wanted, or, you know, like I said, just like getting to go back to ACL, like feeling like ACL is like kind of like finally going back to like what its roots are in terms of like what the festival does best, and like what, like there's just so many beautiful things that I'm like really grateful for. So yeah, that's a huge thing, because it's like it was the Queen of Swords who knew like this is a lover, this is the lover situation, recent past, right? The Hierophant. And this is why we're celebrating and we're having a Hierophant Halloween party, because 5 years ago we started it all off in terms of like me and Dennis realizing we're supposed to like make art together, like for real. Like, you know, I mean, we do every time we make love, but I think it was like, oh, like why look for a buddy, you know, on Craigslist to like help make a piece of art when we're like the two of us. And that has been such a beautiful journey, and that like really set us into like such a certain future. But it really also started this collaborative channel where it's like it's me, Dennis, and God working on everything. Oh my gosh, how beautiful is this? How beautiful is this? Everything that I said is like happening. I think this also goes to like a big part of what I do here at the studio is like reviving the written part of life. Like life is script. So like the what happens next was written, you know, whatever you're writing into your life, you know. And so I just remind people, like, you know, shout out Mike, war on my pen type shit. Like really, like the pen game's gotta like, you gotta up your pen game if you really want to have unions that feel like creative new beginnings. Like you've got to be the one to know like what would coming into union feel like for you. Like this week is huge for me. Like this is like God has moved everything out of the way. The 10 swords, the 3 swords, they just got like supernaturally moved out of the way. I'm talking like people's hearts and minds have just like been like not even changed. They just like whatever the original problem was, like this, it's so clear that it's the makings of like this beautiful like celebration for me and my husband for like the next like month. And I'm just really excited. And it's like God could not have made it any more clear for me that it's like, it is not about this month. It is not about me doing anything for anyone. This is about the month of like reception, of like standing right where we're planted, really embracing that God already gave us in August and September, like our new grid, our new forever home, our new, like we can literally walk by the future homes, our future offices, the future land that we like, it's all like right here. And it's just like really been so emotional and a lot to take in. And that's why so much, like I know it feels like I've kind of been like overactive online, but I actually feel like we've been very private online, because most of what we're doing, we're not like, we're just like blown away every day by how all this came intuitively. Holy cow, there is coming 4-4 for T-Stu. That's good news for us, team. The 4-4, the solidity, you know. The reason that 13 is my favorite is because it's the same 3 signature that I get from my dad. My dad's born on the 3rd, my mom's born on the 24th of November. So 24 and 3 are, you know, the framework. And my brother's a 14th baby and I'm a 13th baby. So like you see our numbers in our family, 3 and 4. But in a funny way, like even though I'm a 13 baby, like the beautiful, what I think is lucky about 13 is there's actually a number of stability. It's like reduces to 4. So I'm actually not like, even though I'm an odd number, like I have this even keeled personality, and I feel like I honor both of my parents with that. You know, I'm not just like one way or the other. So, but what I see with the 4 of Pentacles is like the whole foundation, like all at once. And it just like completely puts to rest any mental anguish. But I am just here to announce that for myself. It's like, this is the start. Like, phew, happy Monday. Like, this is like all good things, all really amazing. Oh my gosh. Yep. It's time to go, because the investment is here and the equal give and take is here. So it's time to like leave all the like smaller things that we were filling up behind, because now we're going on to like a 9 of Cups, which is like, congrats, like T-Stu is always like gonna be somewhere that like people can come get filled up at. I don't have like, that's kind of what I felt the opening message was, just like, you're done, I'm done, Dennis is done having to like go to people to like bring this stuff to. Now we get to have people come to us, and that's huge, because I think the initiation was about like us like being at our parents' house and getting information, or like being, you know, in a certain city at a certain time, or being, you know, trying to like connect with other artists or connect with other people. And now it's like all of the bright things have been put into our cauldron for just like this really awesome like feeling of departure at this time. So I'm like really blessed about that. Wow, God, thank you for this beautiful message. This is like so special to me. Wow, holy cow, 9 of Pentacles, right? I also feel like this is like where we are. So like we're sitting 9 of Pentacles completely independent. Like this is where I really just wanted to give honor that like You know, even some of my investors are really, really like, wow, this girl's really good at gambling, which I am. Like, I'm not just proper with the cards for no reason. Like, it is something that like runs in my family. Like, I just choose to use it for the light and like divinate with cards instead of like fucking blackjacking you hoes. Although I could probably fucking fuck up you girls. But anyways, I do feel like a lot of people who were investing in me like also didn't necessarily have this vision that like, whew, man, I did kind of ask Alexis to compromise or like to meet me in certain places, and good thing she followed her guidance, because like she came out stable, which is a win for everyone who's investing in me. Like, for me to be here either way, like they can't really say anything about how I did it and how my husband did it, because like, thank God, like for us, we always focus on like, we can't compromise our individuality, our right to creatively direct where this is all going, and like our own independence, like being the ones to build it. Like, we've always been the type of person like, we don't need, like, it's is as flattering as it is, like, I don't need you to give me anything for free. We've never needed that. I'm gonna give you a service. Let me, like, you can pay for something. You don't have to, like, so beautiful. And I think this mostly came from like healing this feeling of not being able to be successful. Like I said, like, you know, God has like really been revealing parts of my personality, like, you know, that I hadn't really been paying attention to. Like, I do definitely need to like acknowledge. I mean, some people be like, bitch, duh, I thought you were going for like mermaid siren core with your fucking 30 fucking 1,000-inch bust down fucking braids and shit. Like, usually my typical look is pretty like siren-esque, but God is really like making me reflect on like, yeah, you like definitely need to like make sure you're like aware of like siren energy being something that you like possess at an ancestral level, just because that's gonna make people, it's gonna be like seducing and bringing in people of like who want to provide, who want to do this, who want to do that. It also might activate and awaken people in certain ways that like a lot of times maybe I'm not expecting because I'm just not thinking about that. But I think it comes down to that. Like, it comes down to, you know, I used to be in a cycle where like I used to fear like just taking my success, because again, when you have sort of like my energy signature, which is very like siren, like I don't even like, it could be any fucking number of things that people are like, God damn it, like I'm feeling like spark to life, and this person's just standing there talking, and it's like any of those things could be the reason, but it also can attract like people who are dealing with insecurity. For me, I can really attract a lot of narcissistic energy as well, because narcissism is like masking insecurity. So basically, a narcissist is the same as anybody, except for they have a lot of like deep-seated insecurities that they don't deal with. Rather, they just want to mask. And when you mask an insecurity, that's like the worst thing, because it's just like it always feels like deception. Like, whenever you're dealing with a narcissist, you feel like you're dealing with someone who just like has no confidence at all, but like they're abusing a power because maybe in the situation they look super powerful and confident. So all things considered, the outcome here is the King of Cups and the King of Wands. Wow. And I think you manifest this type of external, this is like a person who really embodies like those, like is imbalanced. To me, it gives like creative and receptive, like they're imbalanced, but I think you can manifest that outside of yourself, because like, for example, if I want the perfect investor, which as a business person, I'm always thinking like, I really always just like want like the perfect investor, it's all connected. It has to all be sourced in that way. And the perfect investor in T Studios is truly someone that will mirror like our studio's formula. So like, I see it as all connected. Like, the choices that I had to make every step of the way all year this year indicate a certain type of philosophy, a certain type of ethics, and indicate a certain type of intention. And I want to really be clear that even if my mind thinks I want to go for something specific, I'd really just rather go for things that really like mirror how I am in practice building this up from the ground up. You know, I know my husband feels the same way. So we're more excited about the person or the people who really want to pour into this because they see themselves reflected in the ethos and pathos of what we do. And that's pretty much it. But I'm just feeling very excited, because it was also like there were times where like this, again, Saturn and Aries, like the big blessings that come down, Saturn and Aries are all of the ones that you've made. So I think the thing that's going to feel really beautiful about this week is like, this week and this month, everything that's coming to me like are just dreams I had to keep dreaming. And then also like dreams I had to put out there, dreams I had to be like, you know what? And you know, there are a million dreams that I have every day that I say that maybe they don't happen immediately, or they like the time frame moves and I'm like, oh, that didn't come to pass. But I like never stop putting out like what I want for the future. And this is one of those weeks where it really comes back to you, because this Page of Swords packs a punch. This Page of Swords has like comes to like say, hello, yes, we read your script and we're going to do all of it. You know? And then I did my part of like actually just like, you know, I can wish for all these things, like a beautiful Halloween wedding, but it matters who I'm getting married to. Like if I want the universe to orchestrate all this craziness and this big party and this big celebration that happens annually, like I have to have a love story that's like going to do that, like that's going to be there every year for people to look forward to. So a lot of people were betting on me and Dennis just staying in love. And I'm just like so grateful for you guys always sending like really positive energy for us to stay in love, because I feel like we really fought hard to do that. We fought the forces that were in place that, you know, they tried very hard to make the initiation, like our natural transformation and the natural pain that was already on our life that we would have had to get through. I think that's what got us through it. It's like, well, a lot of the things that were really hard or fighting against me and Dennis staying in love are just things that like would have come with our individual life. So it was kind of easy to be like, well, nigga, you probably be going through this even if we weren't dating. So don't let it tear apart like that we're together. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what kept us going in a lot of ways. Wow. It's also so beautiful. Like I said, right now we're at the Four of Swords. Like this is coming to you. There's nothing for me to do. I don't have to pander to anyone. I have to really like, that's one of the biggest things at this time too, that I'm like writing and recording into history is like, God really did tell me this whole way, like Alexis, you really at certain points, like, you know what your masculine went and built, but you also have to trust like this feminine principle. That's like, you wrote it out. It should just come to you because you've already, your masculine already did all the work for it. Like, again, you're going to realize like a divine feminine only writes a future that like we can actually have. And one of the things about Aquarius is like, listen, baby, there ain't no point in wishing on a fucking star that it can't actually come true. You know what I mean? You know, it's like wishing to be a fucking purple octopus tomorrow. Let's wish for something else. You know, like Aquarius has that jurisdiction. It's like, maybe that's not exactly like something feasible. Like, why not make wishes that like could actually really happen? And I think the practical dreamer is like really getting elevated at this time, which I love. Holy shit! Did I not just say this Page of Swords is coming with what? Hey, here it is. The 10 Pentacles you requested. The creative new beginning you requested. Supernatural. The supernatural did this for me. The way it all ties together, the way I didn't control any of it. As far as I have to really record in history, I didn't make any of these things happen. I pushed up against it. Everything failed. Every sponsor I wanted to get by my own efforts, none of it came through me. So it only would have come through by me going through the whole process, reflecting on it, and then God still doing the supernatural thing in the end. So one of the things that I really want to tell you guys is when you're building your life, God's going to do it in the end. Like, literally, like everything you achieve, God's, like even me setting out for university, it was like God did it in the end. So that's kind of like the biggest like tidbit here. We're going to get going. We're going to keep moving forward. But I just want to let you know, like right now, for everything that comes in for me, God really did the part to take care of it. And I just had to like be in the vessel that was prepared for it. And that's really all you can control. So in your life, you know, your prophecy will unfold. But the best thing you can do is kind of creative direct the experience that you're always having every second of every day. But I've gotten really good at just feeling good every day. And then the rest that was already inevitably going to happen for me is like just happening. So it took a lot to be a revolutionary, to fight, to prove that that's the truth of life. But I think this empire that I've built kind of proves that to people, because that's a really basic thing that I wanted to do. It's not even necessarily spiritual. It's not even necessarily like education based. It is just like letting you know like the basic principles and frameworks for life are that like the stuff that like I wanted to define like what is never going to be in our control, like, and a lot of the unfolding, the people on a certain path and stuff, that's like not even our control. Like that's what I found, like the way that I can get a vision or a download about like someone on a path or something, like that just has to do with that. So very grateful at this time. I'm going to get my morning started with my bestie, but just wanted to give a short message out because that was all about. But praises, adios.